All right. So I got to tell this story. It was one of those times where I'm like, okay, better agency. I see you, baby. All right. We got a client who I had didn't even know his name. Addie in my office had been the initial contact for him. I'd never spoken to him. And I get an email from this guy, and I'm like, who is this? I don't know this person. And I looked back through the email chain, and Better Agency had been sending him automated emails from a pipeline that you built, Mr. Schmidley, that you did the copy for. And the guy replied to one of the Better Agency emails and was like, okay, sorry, I've been busy. I didn't mean to blow you off. Yeah, let's get started. And I literally had no idea who this guy was. And I walked out to Addie and I'm like, hey, did you talk to so-and-so? And she's like, yeah, did he get back to you? And I'm like, actually, Better Agency has been pinging this guy. And I didn't even know it was doing it. Like Better Agency had turned on a campaign all on its own, according to Addie, because she didn't even turn it on. It just happened somehow. And this guy calls in and we bind 2 rent houses.
Nice.
From something that I didn't even know was happening. Like Better Agency was doing stuff and I wasn't even aware of it. So I was one of those like, that's pretty cool. I don't have those moments terribly often where I'm just like pleasantly surprised by technology, but that was definitely one of them. It was like, props to you, Better Agency. I just made money and I didn't do anything.
That's awesome, man. That's cool to hear. So it sounds to me like from what, you've experienced so far that some of the most beneficial features was the pre-created turnkey, all of the emails, the text messages, those are really pre-structured. And instead of you having to figure out how to build the campaigns and what copy to write and where to place it and time it, it sounds to me like it's been a huge benefit to you to be able to just go in there and make some tweaks, right? Obviously you want to make it your voice, and the goal wasn't to speak for you, but to essentially give you, create the pedestal, put the microphone on it, give you the script essentially, and have you make the changes that you feel comfortable with. But it sounds like that was a huge time savings for you. And at this point also a moneymaker because it was doing stuff in the background without you having to do anything.
Well, I mean, time is money. We all know that. And time is measurable money. Now, my time is worth about $130 an hour. I figured it out based on last year's revenue. My time in 2019 was worth approximately $130 an hour. So any time that Better Agency saves me is literal dollars back in my pocket because I can deploy my time and my energy and my resources somewhere else. So yeah, I would absolutely say that there's been a measurable value. I don't yet know what that value is, but at the end of this year, you better believe I will, because I'm going to figure out how many emails the Better Agency send for me that I didn't have to send, how many text messages that I not have to type out, how many follow-up calls did it say, hey, call that guy. Because I didn't even remember the guy's name. I mean, we bind more than 100 policies a month. We're at a point now in our growth, and this makes me a little uncomfortable because I'm a control freak. Let's be honest. Hi, I'm James. I'm a control freak. The whole thing of we are binding clients now that I've never spoken to, that I don't know. They don't even think of me as their agent. I'm just the guy whose name is on the door. They think of Brecklin or Addie or Roy as their agent. That's a cool thing. That's really, really, really cool. Better Agency makes the scaling process a lot easier because if I've got to send the email, if I have to remember to do something, who knows if it gets done. But the way that you guys have thought about tasks and sales pipeline and service pipeline and notes on accounts, the way that 3 months from now, you guys are going to be integrated with multiple management systems with a direct API link, which makes you even more valuable than you are now. When you factor in some of the user interface changes that you guys have already talked about, when you bring in some more of these commercial focused features, gosh, I don't know where I'd find that. I would literally have to have 3, 4, 5, 6 different vendors to do what you guys are doing on one platform. And the value of that from as Will has said a million times, something he's really focused on is decreasing complexity in an agent's tech stack. If we can do the same thing that 3 vendors are doing currently with one vendor and one platform, who wouldn't sign up for that?
Yeah. Well, especially when the goal is to help you make more money, right? So I guess my, I got a few more questions here for you, James. If you had to choose one thing about Better Agency, it could be either a result or a feature or a benefit. What would you say that your favorite thing about Better Agency is?
I hate to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but basically what I just said, I can't pick out one thing because the email automation plays directly into the sales pipeline. The fact that you guys have a fully functioning visual sales pipeline like multiple other vendors do, where that's their main value prop is, hey, a visual sales pipeline. I've already named one of them before, and I don't want to seem like I'm bashing other vendors because they do a good job. They're just not designed for insurance people specifically. The fact that you guys have all the contact management, the communication, the email automation, the sales pipeline, the notes, the tasks, everything in one. Like I can't pick out one feature because all the features being on the same platform, interchangeable, like they all talk to each other on the having the contact record that has the communication flow where that person from an E&O perspective, holy cow, every piece of communication that person has received documented. Like, wow, that's awesome. Love that. But the fact that everything is on a unified platform is phenomenal.
That's awesome, man. Okay. Well, so my final question for you, James, is, for somebody that might be listening to this and, maybe they've heard about Better Agency word of mouth, or they've seen some ads, and let's say that they've been thinking about, working with Better Agency or signing up. But, like most of us are, maybe they're skeptical, right? What would you say to somebody that might be on the fence like that about Better Agency and what they should do?
If someone appreciates money and efficiency and wants to have more of those two things in their life, Better Agency is a no-brainer. I don't know how else to say it. I'm going to pay, with my reduced rate, I pay $229 a month right now. I got a reduced rate because I was one of the early people on the platform. I don't know what the rate is now, and whatever I tell you the rate, it doesn't matter because the rate's going to change over time. I will tell you this. Once we fully install the features and the benefits of Better Agency, it's a moneymaker. You could be charging twice what you're charging, and I would still be happy to pay it because of how much time it saves me. And as we previously stated, time is money. It doesn't matter if it's $500 a month. Would it be a pain to pay $500 a month with something I'm paying $229 a month for right now? Yeah, I don't want to pay $500 a month, but I'm perfectly happy doing that. Once everything's built out, I mean, $500, $600 a month for a fully unified platform that does everything I needed to do, save a management system, which you guys don't want to be a management system, but you want to be darn near everything else in my tech stack.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, do you have to pay money to make money? Absolutely.
Sure.
Anybody who tries to be a cheapskate, you're not going to grow. Like we're almost to the end of our first year. March 1st will be the end of our first year. And we're on track right now to do about 1.4 million in premium. We should be right about that 1.4 by March 1st.
That's awesome.
So coming from a captive agency where the most I ever wrote in 6 years was 524,000 in premium, it's kind of a nice improvement. And Better Agency has definitely been part of that. Obviously, not all of it, but when we got on in October, we've been using it extensively since October. And, Better Agency is a big part of us knocking down these sales records.
I love it, dude. Well, that's awesome. And we're excited to, help you continue that journey, James. So, anything that we can do to help you